Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports and North Football video, and today I'm going over my Week 15 predictions for the 2023 NFL season. I've been doing predictions on the channel most weeks this season, but I've been busy for a few of them. I'm hopefully going to be able to do it for the rest of the season as my schedule has gotten a lot better. So let's get right into it. First off, we have Thursday Night Football. We have the Chargers against the Raiders. This is a common Thursday Night Football slate. It looked at the beginning of the season like it would have been a much better game than what we're getting now, but I have the Chargers beating the Raiders 9-6 in this one. The Chargers have been in a lot of low-scoring games recently, and the Raiders have not scored a lot of points recently. So the combination of the two, I think it's going to be fairly low-scoring. Also, if Justin Herbert doesn't play, then we'll be getting Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell. Not that Easton Stick or Aiden O'Connell can't score touchdowns, but I just think that this will be a very low-scoring game. It could be somewhere closer to 15-14, but I think 9-6 is a fair prediction. Moving on to the Saturday games. We have 3 Saturday games this week. We have Bengals versus Vikings, Colts versus Steelers, and Lions versus Broncos. In the Bengals-Vikings game, I have the Bengals winning 27-20. I think that the Bengals have the advantage in this one. If Jake Browning does not play, I may be picking the Vikings, but I believe that Jake Browning is slated to play in this one. Jake Browning has played phenomenally well so far. He's played like a top half quarterback, honestly, in the games that he started, and he's played very well. I think that the Vikings defense has fallen off a little bit from the beginning of the season, but they would be able to do a decent job against the Bengals. I do believe that the Bengals have a more consistent offense, though, even with Jake Browning at quarterback. So I got the Bengals in this one. Colts Steelers, I have the Colts winning 20-17. Both of these teams, the Colts are doing better the second half of the season than the Steelers have. They've been doing well with Gardner Minshew, but the Steelers have been falling off recently. I think the Colts, again with the Bengals, have a more consistent offense than the Steelers do. The Steelers' defense has been strong this year, but even their defense has been inconsistent. They allowed 21 points to the Patriots last week, and I think that it's more likely that the Colts win the game, mostly because they have Gardner Minshew, who wins pretty decently with the teams that he's been on, as opposed to the Steelers having Mitch Trubisky, who's struggled as their quarterback this season. Lions-Broncos, this is my weekly 41-38 prediction. I have the Lions winning 41-38 over the Broncos. The Broncos are 7-6. They are fighting for a spot in the AFC playoffs. I think that they're going to put everything on the line this week on offense to win. I think Russell Wilson's going to try his very best, but it's going to be a tough game. I think the Lions ultimately will win 41-38. The Lions have not been great recently. They've lost a couple of games to bad teams, and they've had some games that are too close for comfort. They've had a fairly easy schedule this season, and their record is not as good as some people may have expected it to be with how good their roster is. I think 41-38 is a fair prediction, but I also do think that the Broncos do have an opportunity to win this game, especially considering they're fighting for their lives in the playoffs. And the Lions can't really realistically get the 1 seed, so they're not really fighting for a whole lot at this point in the season. Moving on to Sunday at 1 o'clock, we have the Texans versus the Titans, Dolphins versus Jets, Browns, Bears, Falcons, Panthers, Chiefs, Patriots, Packers, Bucks, and Saints, Giants. I have the Texans beating the Titans 22-21. I think that this will probably be one of the least interesting games of the week. I don't know what C.J. Stroud's injury update is. If C.J. Stroud does play, then I can see the Texans scoring up to 30 points. But Tennessee's defense has been pretty good recently, and their offense has been improving with the more Will Levis has played. I can possibly see the Titans winning if C.J. Stroud does not play this week, but I am still uncertain about his injury status. Dolphins-Jets, I have the Dolphins winning 24-20. The Jets defense has been good all season, and they've been in a lot of low-scoring games recently. I don't think that they can win this one. I think that the Dolphins are going to win it, especially coming off of a loss last week. They're going to want to make sure that they can keep their spot atop the AFC East. I think that 24-20 is a fair score prediction for this one. The Jets will give them a run for their money, but it'll probably be 24-13 going into the fourth quarter. The Jets get a garbage time touchdown, but ultimately the Dolphins will be secure for most of the game. Browns-Bears, I have the Browns winning 22-13. The Browns have looked better with Joe Flacco than with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. The Bears have been okay recently, but I think that the Browns are just way better team. Falcons-Panthers, I have the Falcons winning 17-10. The Panthers have been bad all season. The Falcons have been inconsistent all season. I think that the Falcons will win, but I don't think it'll be anything impressive. Packers-Buccaneers, I have the Packers winning 30-27. Both of these teams are also fighting for their lives in the playoffs. They're both 6-7. The Packers coming off of a bad loss, and the Buccaneers coming off of a win that propelled them into the 4th seed in the NFC. If the Buccaneers win out, they control their destiny. They'll finish 10-7. If the Packers win out, they make the playoffs. They also control their destiny, but for a different purpose. That being said, I think that the Packers' offense has been more consistent with Jordan Love than Baker Mayfield's been on the Buccaneers, and I think that the Packers will be able to pull it out. But neither of these teams have impressive defenses, so I think this could be a high-scoring game. Saints-Giants, I have the Saints winning 30-20. Not really much to be said here. The Giants played a decent game last week against the Packers, but I think that the Saints are going to turn up the heat. As for the Chiefs-Patriots game, I have the Chiefs winning 51-3. Moving on to Sunday at 4 o'clock, I have the Niners beating the Cardinals 40-27, the Rams beating the Commanders 38-20, and the Cowboys beating the Bills 34-23. In the Niners-Cardinals game, the Cardinals are a divisional rival. Kyler Murray's played pretty decently in his starts. I think that they'll put up a decent amount of points on offense, but the Niners are a juggernaut of a team this year, and they really like destroying their divisional opponents. In the Rams game, the Rams have had one of the most explosive offenses in the league when Kyron Williams has been in the lineup. They had a drought, losing 3 games in a row when he was out. But since he's been back, they've been one of the most explosive teams in the league once again, barely losing in overtime last week to the Ravens. And the Rams are looking like one of the strongest teams in the league right now offensively. The Commanders have not had an impressive defense this season, so I believe that the Rams could score up to 40 points. And the Commanders really average around 20. They get 20 in almost every game, and it comes down to their defense. If they win or lose, I think that they will end up losing this one 40-20. As for the Bills-Cowboys game, I have the Cowboys beating the Bills 34-23. Dallas has had the best offense in the league the last 7 weeks. Dak Prescott's thrown 22 touchdowns over the last 7 games, and I think that he's going to want that MVP for the first time in his career. He's going to throw 3 more touchdowns this week against Buffalo in a decisive victory over a Bills team that's trying to get back into the playoff picture. On Sunday night, I have the Ravens beating the Jaguars 37-31. The Ravens were prided on their defense for the first half of the season. The second half of the season has been all about offense. They've played a lot of close, high-scoring games recently. They've had a lot of tough opponents, and they've weathered the storm pretty well. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a strong offense. They've been playing really well, and Evan Ingram has had a really good second half of the season. I think that they're going to continue to play well against the Ravens, but they're going to pick up their 6th loss of the season, falling to 8-6 against the Ravens in a high-scoring, potentially overtime victory for Baltimore. I could see 31-31 overtime finishing in a Ravens victory. Last but certainly not least, we have the Monday Night Football game. We have Eagles-Seahawks. The Eagles have lost 2 games in a row, falling from their number 1 position in the league to now number 5 in the NFC, as they are no longer leading their division. And the Seahawks have been, I believe they're on a 5-game losing streak, or they've lost 5 of their last 6, one of the 2. The Seahawks have not been bad recently. They've just played a really hard schedule, and they haven't been able to get a win over any of the strong teams. I do think Seattle has a chance to win this game and make the playoffs. I think that it's more than likely they'll win this game just because they're good enough that they're bound to win a game against a strong team at some point in the season. But I think that the Eagles should win this one. I think that they're going to want to break their losing streak, get out of that bad mojo before the playoffs start, and hopefully get control of their division again. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.